We're going to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, we
So I'm
are.
going to give you guys a simple tour today, showing you guys some of the stuff that they carry, some of the stuff that I use, and some of the stuff I don't recommend that you guys purchase. Alright, so we're here in the flowers that they carry year round. These are some of the stuff that I use. For example, some of these Dahlias. They're reasonably priced. These were only $5.99 and they're 50% off every other week. So I highly recommend you guys come here before you're looking at the seasonal stuff, just simply because it's cheaper and you get a better value.
Wow, those actually look real.
Yeah, they do. And then I also use these. They come in all sorts of colors. So here we have the kind of coppery orange, they have some ivory, and these are probably one of the best investments because they're only $3.50. And I always save the leaves in the back if I don't use them for the project that I'm currently working on, just to cover up some of the wires that may be showing, or to fill in some additional greenery to kind of bulk up our wreaths.
Those like white ones are really pretty.
Yeah, they are. They come in all sorts of colors.
I feel like they can go in like any situation.
Yeah, they're really pretty. I like those.
Like
So those are
brighten up a
something
room.
I highly recommend. So here's some of the roses that they have. They carry 2 different sizes. These are the ones that I typically work with, a little bit smaller. These are $3.99, 50% off.
Wow.
And here's some that are a little bit larger.
Detail.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
The detail on it.
So they
is,
carry
like,
these year round, so you can come pick them up at any point of the year. Of course, these are some fall colors, so kind of early for fall, but they always carry them, which is nice to get ahead for the season. So here's more flowers that I highly recommend. These are some Ranunculus. These are $6.99, 50% off. A little pricey, but very high quality. So for those of you that are my group members, you guys are quite used to these at this point. Here's kind of like a light pink. They also have another color that I always use, which is kind of the softer ivory or cream. So definitely recommend these, as well as like the more inexpensive roses. These are what I call African roses, a smaller bud, $2.47, 50% off, about $1.25. We use these all the time within my group.
Even has fake thorns on it.
I know, really realistic.
It is. Crafting on a budget.
So more spring stuff, more summer stuff. This is stuff that they carry year round. So if you look on this side, spring colors, summer colors, and if you look on the opposing side, pretty much fall colors, but they always carry these, which is nice. So if we're planning ahead, which we all should do, and start designing our fall stuff early, we can purchase it at any time of the year.
I think that's cool because, like, say, like Walmart, for instance, they have like their Halloween decorations only out in October.
Yeah,
but like
people usually get like judgmental because it's like, why do they have
or like
Halloween
if you're someone
stuff 4
like
months early?
if you're someone like me, I like Halloween decorations because I like oranges and blacks. So
Yeah.
like when they come out, I like snag them all up.
Yeah. And then they also have flowers that personally aren't my cup of tea. Wow, she's really aggressive with those carriages.
Dude,
So,
excuse me. Also, hi, I'm Nicole.
all right, so they have more flowers here. They have just rose. If you come in, it depends on the Hobby Lobby, but they're usually set up on the right, and then you add, like, there's more florals towards that way, more greenery. But they have these, little tacky for me. Not really a huge fan of that super, super bright pink. But even these, I saw some clearance stickers on some of them where they were only like a quarter each. So a quarter, not bad, especially like these ones right here are only 49 cents on sale from $1.99. So these are actually 75% off? Yeah.
Yeah.
75% off. One flower I always stay away from, just because maybe it's one of my favorite flowers in fresh form, is lilies. It's very hard to get a high quality lily. So as you can see, these are very extremely cheap looking.
Yeah.
So if you're able to find some that are higher quality, definitely pick them up because they are very hard to find. And then they have some geraniums. These look cheap to me. Geraniums don't actually come in such a color like this. They do have multicolors, but not so bright.
These ones, I don't really like the color pink, but these are actually
These are like
cute.
spray roses.
They're
inexpensive, good for fillers. I do not like the greenery on them. I don't know how well it's picking up, but very inexpensive greenery.
Oh yeah, that's fake green.
Very fake.
We don't like
But they do have a lot of stuff here that's relatively inexpensive.
Ooh, now see, like, sunflowers. But like that doesn't. I've seen better sunflowers.
Yeah, so many of my followers know that I'm very particular on my type of sunflowers.
And that doesn't look real.
And these just don't do it for me. I worked with these last year.
Oh, those ones are nice.
These are the ones that I worked with in a centerpiece, so I use these. But look at the quality difference. These are $3.99.
Look more realistic.
These are $4 and these are $7.
That's
so you
like
are
something
paying.
you'd see in a cartoon.
Yeah, you
and
are
that's
paying for
something
the
you'd see at
quality.
field.
Even the foliage is much better on these. So just price match everything. See what your budget is if you're trying to stay within a budget and not necessarily make it as high end as you possibly can. You could definitely use the cheaper sunflowers. Like these ones don't look too bad.
No.
So $2.99 for these, 50% off.
It's not bad.
No, not too bad. I personally would use them because you can get them for $3.50 for a larger, better quality one. And they have some of these. I think I used these at one point. I forget the name of them. But you know, they do come in real flowers like this, which are kind of pretty. I can't remember the name. If you remember the name, drop it in the comment section.
Oh, these red ones are cool.
Yeah, the Magnolias.
See, I love deep red color.
Me
What
too.
would you call this color? Because me, it's just red.
I'd say like not a maroon, a dark red. I guess that's the best you can do.
It's crimson red, or
Could be, yeah, it's crimson. It's
look at
definitely
me
crimson.
being like,
Look
oh.
at you knowing your colors. So I typically shy away from anything super, super white where it looks artificial. Like, no rose is going to be that bright white. Whereas something more ivory or cream is more realistic.
Yeah.
So definitely go for something like this versus something ultra
I like
white.
things like this too, like
the dogwoods,
yeah.
cherry blossoms. Yeah, these are
I
very
love
pretty.
cherry blossom trees.
So these are great to extend your wreath. So if you're only designing on a 14-inch grapevine wreath and you want to make it larger, take some of these and put them around the perimeter and you enlarge the entire design, which means you can charge more for it, which is always nice. Seeded eucalyptus, very fake looking and probably expensive, even in artificial forms because it is such a popular greenery, it tends to be more expensive. Like this is $16. Also a good tip whenever you're purchasing flowers from anywhere is to make sure that you're actually getting all of the flowers, all of the leaves. As you can see here, you're spending $16 and half the leaves are actually missing. So what I do is I actually go throughout. If I'm wanting to purchase this, I will take pieces off another spray that's missing and I'll kind of fill in. I don't know if that's the best idea, but I want to get my money's worth. If half the leaves are missing or half the flowers, that's not good. So here we have some orchids. These are another hit or miss. Typically, the more money you spend on these, the better quality they are. So the Phalaenopsis orchids, which are right here, these are higher quality. You can feel them. They're kind of real touch. So some flowers have that real touch to them. So these are kind of nice. I've kind of seen other ones that are a little bit better quality. But for the Cymbidiums right here, they're very pretty. I think we're going to plan a project using the green ones. I really like these.
Oh, that's cool.
Aren't those pretty?
I've never seen anything look like that.
So they also have the foliage. You guys know I like to match my foliage to whatever plant I'm using. So this is Cymbidium, so the foliage is a little bit different. But if we're using Phalaenopsis orchids, you know, you just open up the greenery that they already have here with the air roots right there, and you can bend it to shape, kind of mimicking a real Phalaenopsis orchid.
Wow, look at you being creative.
I know. What they also have are some Plumeria. These are very tropical and a little too bulky for me. I don't know exactly how I would use these.
The colors are pretty.
They're very pretty. I would hate to separate the
together.
flowers. This is how the plant actually grows in real life. So it's very pretty, but in artificial form, I think it's kind of bulky unless you're just doing a big pot of them, which might look nice. Other than that, I don't typically use them. So here's some foliage that I use. I used this yesterday in a lantern swag.
Those look like something you see in like Hawaii as a
I know,
big
Hawaii.
thing in you.
But these are actually hosta leaves, and they're one of my favorite plants for the garden in real life. I love working with them. So this is just a variegated hosta, and these are only $2.49 a stem. So if you're going for something tropical, you could use that with some anthurium and some other flowers. I think those would be very pretty and give that tropical feel, even though these are basic leaves that you can find here in New England, outside in our gardens.
Yeah, go bust in.
So then we have some cheaper foliage. This would be nice if you just need a little height. It's not super bad quality, doesn't look super plasticky, but I typically don't use it because it's not my favorite. So we don't really use that. $3.99 a stem too, so $2 for this is kind of pricey. So just everything here, it's either a hit or miss. You're either getting a great deal or not such a great deal. Perfect for Halloween. Any other season, I do not like them.
It's blending in with your jacket.
Is it?
Yeah. There we go.
So a dahlia, the black dahlia, kind of ironic. Not my favorite color for flowers, but my friend Nicole, who's with me filming today, absolutely loves black flowers like that.
Like these
Like the roses.
are calling my
So if
heart.
somebody's having a wedding and they want to have artificial flowers,
These would be my wedding
black and red
flowers.
theme, I guess it's okay. Not my cup of tea, but you know, of course, everybody has different style, which is nice. You know, magnolias don't come in jet black like that. No flower really comes in any of these colors, especially hydrangeas. But you know, they have them available, so if you want to match those with some white, feel free. If I was to use these, I wouldn't be using the foliage. I wouldn't turn this into a floral wreath. I'd probably place these on a mesh wreath, maybe like a Halloween mesh wreath, black or white, and add some just black flowers. I wouldn't be adding any green foliage. I don't think it looks nice. If you're not trying to make it look like real flowers, then there's really no point in trying to simulate that. So I would not be using any greenery unless it's spray painted black or white or something along those lines. So these are some of my favorite sprays. These are Gerber Daisies. I've used these many times in the past, and I actually recorded a video for my exclusive wreath community showing them how to create a swag on a wreath, something kind of not typical. So we created a swag, added some additional greenery, some filler flowers, but typically I'm very picky with Gerber Daisies, but these are very nice quality. The bushes are the sprays are a little bit more expensive than your single flower stems or single bushes, simply because they're already arranged together. You already get your berries, your greenery, your flowers. So it does save you a little bit of time, but you are going to pay for that time. And then they have these. One thing I tell all of my followers is to not use any foam flowers or paper flowers. And as you can see, this is just, you know, your typical foam. This would not hold up. This would fade very fast, whether it's inside or outside. And it is very...
It looks like Nemo's house.
I mean, this is kind of cute if you have a kid or something and you just want to give them an Easter flower or something. I wouldn't be using this in floral work, though. And they have Cosmos. This is actually my first time seeing these here. $7.99, a little pricey, but if you're doing something that you want that dainty foliage and pretty little Cosmo flowers, they have them. And then anything, whenever I'm doing any like dogwoods or cherry blossoms or anything that kind of grows, whenever I do anything with daintier flowers like cherry blossoms or anything along those lines, I always try to pick smaller flowers. Sometimes they come in like this, especially at like Dollar Trees and Walmarts. Their cherry blossoms are very, very large. And like I said before, I use these around the perimeter to extend my wreath. So if we do that, as you can see, it'll just be very bulky and congested. So I usually go for something a little bit more finer, a little bit more daintier, something along these lines. Don't those just look better than the other ones? A little bit more natural.
They look nice with the white ones we saw.
Yeah, the white ones. So something smaller flowered, smaller textured is a lot better when you're adding it just as an accent. So these are foam, so I actually wouldn't be using them. As you can see, they're just very cheap. They don't hold their shape. They're not wired, so any of the stem is not wired. It just pops right back into shape. One of my favorite flowers, especially for spring or summer. They look great just arranged in a container. This is some lavender. They have them in a darker color, and they also have them in a slightly lighter. Not a bad value, $5.99. You're going to pay anywhere along those lines. So $3 for all of this, truly not that bad. And as I break them down, so let's say I'm using this stem. If I only use it up to here, I will save all these little bits of foliage and use them elsewhere. This is perfect as a finer foliage to kind of accent your wreath, or just to pepper in anywhere that you might need a little foliage but don't want to necessarily spend the money. This whole section, besides the top ones, I don't use any of these, anything paper, anything foam. They do not hold their shape, they do not last long, and they definitely shouldn't be used outdoors. And they just have a tendency... They have a tendency to get a lot of dust on them, and it's very hard to clean off foam. So I don't use any of these, unfortunately. Here's some of the more realistic geraniums or pelargoniums. I love working with these. They're very nice quality. But this is another tip, or what I was talking about earlier, where I don't use foliage that doesn't match the specific flowers that I'm using. Geranium foliage is so signature. You could spot this a mile away if you know your flowers. So I wouldn't be using this to accent anything else. Or else you could just tell it's geranium foliage, and that just kind of messes me up a little bit. So I do not use that foliage for anything but geraniums. And here, look at these. These are what I'm talking about.
Those are like some Hawaiian lilies.
Yeah, but such cheap lilies. But you also got to be careful because most of the time a lot of it's styrofoam, and personally I wouldn't, even if I like the flowers, I wouldn't purchase it because the unopened bud is very cheap looking and it's broken, as you can see. But this is also another good point. Notice that there's different aspects, different points of life on these flowers. This one's a fully open bloom, this one's a little bit smaller, then we have a tighter bud right here. I always like to incorporate flowers at different stages of life in my arrangements and my wreaths. It just makes for a realistic wreath or swag or whatever you're making.
Is swag like a flower, or are you just saying it like as like to be like swag?
Yeah, no, it's like a teardrop. There's all different types of swags, but it's just a different shape. It's not a wreath.
Oh, okay, I get it.
They have some of these, and you guys might be wondering why would somebody spend $6 or $3 in this case on sticks. These definitely enhance your arrangements if you need some height. These are perfect. What I actually used with these is some allium for my private group, and I don't know, yep, they have one allium left. So I did a tutorial in a tall vase using this with the allium, and I think that really kind of completes it. So I used this with the allium, and it looked really pretty. But here's some more lilacs. They come in 3 different colors here. They have the traditional lilac color right here, followed by the cream to off-white, and then of course the darker lilac color right there. Okay.
What the heck?
So these are something I definitely stay away from. Okay, ready?
It's bloopers.
All right, ready? So these are something I definitely don't recommend. I don't like using anything that is extremely tacky. This might be some people's style, but if I'm doing floral work, I don't necessarily like them for that. Some people use these for weddings, put a couple of these in a vase. It's pretty, but I don't like anything that's bedazzled. And if anything, these things seem to fall off very easily. Hobby Lobby kind of tried to be all modern last year, and they came out with sunflowers with half a pine cone, the back of a pine cone as the seed pod for the sunflowers. You guys that go to Hobby Lobby might know what I'm talking about. They're not nice at all. I just stuttered.
It's okay though. Even next seasonal decor has flaws.
All right. So they also have hops. So if you're trying to make your own beer or have a brewery that's close to you that wants a wreath, they also got you covered. These are perfect for beer wreaths, if you will. Wine wreaths are extremely popular for me. So these probably will be popular for other people too.
They look like just green pine cones.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. I like how they cascade like that. And then they have more hydrangeas, different shapes.
Different. Oh, I was shapes. I don't know what I was about to say.
Yeah, these are the hydrangeas right here.
Oh.
These are kind of like limelight hydrangeas, different varieties. Here's more hydrangeas. These are something I just cannot stand. First of all, unless you put this like as a single bloom in a vase, what are you gonna do with this? You know, you could break it down, but it is more expensive than your typical hydrangea bloom. And I don't like them. So we're not gonna get those.
We don't approve. Making my way downtown.
Okay.
That's huge.
They have some huge hydrangeas, and every now and then they put these like 75% off, and then for some reason buy more. So I don't know why they put them on sale, but these are $20, and I think they go 50% off every other week. Of course, I wouldn't use it in its entirety, but if you do come close and you break it apart, you could use them as smaller hydrangeas, and those go right back in place right there.
Oh.
Yeah, so
like you can break them. I was just gonna say you break it, you buy it.
you break it, you buy it. Nope, they go right back in place. We're gonna have to cut that out. Getting closer to the greenery and the mixed bushes that they also carry year round. But here's some of the stuff that they have all the time. These are some of my favorite ferns. A little bit more pricey than the bushes that we're gonna see in just a minute, but still very nice quality. And they do have a nice tendency to cascade just by simply bending them like that. These foliages are perfect right here for fall, so I definitely save some of these for fall, and they're only $4.99, 50% off. Something that I don't use unless I'm creating a grave saddle are some of these pieces of leatherleaf. Leatherleaf is a type of fern. These are $2 a spray. For $2, I'd rather get something a little bit better quality than this. This looks a little cheap. As you can see, both of these are ferns. Which one do you like better? Yeah, this one's much better quality. And then they have some lacier ferns like this. This is more of like a chartreuse green, something that wouldn't really necessarily work for spring or summer. It's too kind of dark for me. I'd want something a little bit brighter, but this is still very nice. This could be like kind of like a maidenhair fern or their take on a maidenhair fern. They have some pussy willows here. You got to be careful with these for the quality. These don't look too bad.
They look fragile.
Yeah, they kind of pop off very easily. And then I don't know what these are, but they're here. Do not recommend these.
Here.
These are literally made out of like plastic bottle caps or something.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
very sharp too. Hear that?
Yeah, it's a good thing the hospital's down the street.
Yeah, ASMR this right here. Yeah, those are cheap to me. These are $12 a spray, 50% off. And here's more of that the lavender I was telling you about earlier. Right here. This one's cheaper, $3.99, 50% off, and you get a lot more blooms. Look at how nice it pairs up with some lamb's ear or dusty miller. This blue-green foliage is very popular right now. It's a big hit. I love working with it, especially for weddings. So here's some kale. I think these would be kind of cool in planters outside for fall. That way they don't die or brown up on you. These are $23.99, 50% off. A little pricey, but it'll last you years and years and years. So this is too large, in my opinion, for a wreath. What you could always do is just simply break it down a little bit. But if I'm going to go that extra mile, I better make sure it's worth it. And for $16, give or take, it's not the best investment. Here, they have mixed green bushes. Some of this greenery is nice. Others do not care for. The fern, very cheap.
Green.
But some people just take this, stab it in a pot, and there you go.
Stab it in a
You know,
pot.
that's what they do. They have some olive foliage with olives. Something that I just noticed last week as I was here is some raspberries. So if you guys do a raspberry sign or raspberry wreath, I think this is kind of pretty.
That is cute.
First of all, you'd have to figure out how to pull it apart. Yeah, because it's very, very tangled. But oh, they're on sale too. They're
It looks like
$3.99.
everything's on sale right
Yeah,
now.
this is unusual. They never usually do that.
You know, this is actually my first time in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Because, like, I really like decorating, so, like, I feel like if I actually brought my wallet in, I'd be, like, charging
Yeah, no,
it.
you're lucky you left it. So here they have some preserved products. I personally go through Nude Nielsen, KNUDNIELSEN. They're my favorite for preserved flowers, preserved greenery. But these things are on sale as well. This is only $6 for that big bag.
Wow.
And then they have some mixed bundles with some cotton. This cotton, as you can see, is falling apart, so I would not purchase that.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. More greenery. These are some nice ferns, but as you can see, the size of it means it's going to be more expensive. This is $40. But you do get a lot of
off.
greenery.
It's $40? Oh, it's
So it's
regular
20.
price. Yeah, I'm glad I left my wallet.
So this is the fern I never use. Too bulky for any of my projects, and it always looks dusty. Doesn't it just look dusty to you? But it's not dusty. That's just the texture of it.
I don't like that.
Like I said before, always think logically, think how far your money will go. This is $12.99. Do you remember that leather leaf I showed you a little while ago that I told you not to use? It's $1.99 a stem. If you do want to use it, this is obviously a better deal. This is $6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 15, 16 stems, which is a lot more worth it than $1.99 each stem. And they have some spider plants.
Oh, I feel like my grandmother has some of
Yeah, these
these.
are very popular for houseplants. I don't know
I think
necessarily.
she has a real one.
Yeah, she probably has a real
Living
one.
room.
But some people just take these, stick them in a hanging basket, and have the little spiderlings kind of cascade like that, which is pretty. Personally, I'd rather just go for the real deal. You'll probably save money if you purchase a real spider plant versus artificial. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a spider plant bloom, personally. Bloom. So here's more fern. As you can see, it's very dainty and very high quality. This is something I highly recommend. I use this all the time, and probably my most famous wreath was the rose gold wreath, which many of you guys know. This is actually the foliage I used for that. So you do get that very Victorian lacy texture with this. So I really like this. $12 a bush, 50% off. Not a bad price.
Does this one have a name, or like do any of these have a name, or are they just?
They're all probably just labeled on Hobby Lobby as fern.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Leaves. I've used these in the past, or philodendron leaves, depending on what they actually labeled them as, because sometimes it looks more like something else than what it actually is.
Oh, that's.
So here's more foliage that I always use. So I created a bridal bouquet, an artificial bridal bouquet last week, and this is the foliage I used for that. It's the perfect lacy, dainty texture whenever you're doing wedding work, especially for the bouquet. I don't really like anything to be too large or too bulky, so this is the perfect texture for it. So here's some ivy. I love using ivy just as an accent. I would never use ivy as an entire base of foliage for my wreath, swags, you name it. I just use it as an accent, especially when it cascades over a wreath or over anything really, a birdhouse. These are a little bit more pricey than the smaller ones. These are $13.99, 50% off.
They're really long.
Yeah, you got some long tendrils, but then for the most part, it's nice and compact in the middle. But we definitely want to showcase some of these longer pieces, and it's relatively nice quality for about $7. They have more olives, if you will. Not quite sure what type of foliage that is. And then something that always reminds me of my yaya, and you guys know my yaya as my little buddy, my grandmother, which means grandmother in Greek. She goes outside and picks her own grape leaves to make some Greek foods. This is some grape leaves, and it always reminds me of her. And they're on sale, $4.99. They were originally $20, so if you're in need of grape leaves, they have them.
That's a good $4.99. They're originally $20.
Yeah, so 75% off.
Wow, bargain.
Paper flowers, foam flowers, I've said it before and I'll say it again, do not use them. These will not hold up in the weather. These will fade very fast, and again, these get very dusty and it's hard to clean. But I think the most important part for me is that they don't hold their shape. So if you're placing this in a wreath and you kind of want it to curve, basically you're stuck with whatever way it's facing. And these look like toilet paper to me. Don't they look like that to you a little bit?
I
Like
mean,
little
now
pieces
that
of
you,
toilet
I didn't
paper?
think of it at first, but yeah.
Yeah.
I can see what you
More
mean.
foam, more paper, not my cup of tea. They have these mixed bushes, but if you're going to be purchasing flowers of this quality, you're better off just going to the dollar store than spending $10 full price for these. These are a little bit cheaper in my opinion, so I wouldn't be using these at all. They have some sunflowers. I've used these many times. Not the highest of quality, but when we're creating inexpensive designs for about $25, those are perfect. Don't like the foliage on these or the flower head. I'd rather purchase them singular over there for, what were they, $2.99, something like that? But these are also known as Pelargoniums. They have some mixed flowers in all sorts of colors. So if you are trying to match something and you don't care about it looking realistic, they have these. They have more Ranunculus that I always use. Some anemones. These are very popular for wedding work. I really like the white ones. Aren't those pretty? They look pretty realistic.
The white ones are prettier, but like since I like the dark colors, my eyes went to the purple.
The purple, yeah. The purple are pretty too, though, actually. There's different sizes, different shapes. These mixed bushes I typically stay away from. They look pretty as a mass, but if you're adding individual flowers to a wreath, I mean, that just doesn't do it for me.
That looks fake.
Yeah, and then they have these. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, that's
but
what I was gonna say. Like, that looks something like
stuff
you
like
clean
this.
stuff with.
I'm picky about sunflowers. I'm picky about grasses.
Wow.
Something like this would be fine if you just stabbed it in a pot and you're good to go for fall. But more than likely, if you purchase your flowers from the Dollar Tree, you'll end up with this plasticky foliage, which see it bends and kind of cracks off. These don't hold their shape. You want some greenery that holds its shape. These daisies, those are pretty.
Do a dollop
They have some Gerberas. Some Gerberas. Again, pretty picky on Gerberas. But the mixed bush that I showed you earlier, those are my favorite from here. More lilies, not my cup of tea. Very cheap looking.
Oh, we got some 4th of July colors going on.
Yep, they always carry these year round. And then I like these. I never put them to use, but I have 3 or 4 bushes of these. And I thought these would be kind of cool for St. Patrick's Day. It's a little past that season, but they're kind of cool, kind of like the gold and the green.
Like, these are pretty, aren't those?
Yeah,
like
these are a big
vines?
no-no, though. These are just chains.
I mean, I just feel like that's not to put something
No,
in,
you
but
wouldn't
just
put
to
this.
use to like decorate
But
or
even to
something.
have cascading off a centerpiece or arrangement or a tall vase, I don't like the look of them. I'd rather purchase the other ivy, which are more inexpensive. These are $10 just for a couple feet. They of course have your cotton ball wreaths. This is $60, and if you turn it from the behind, look at that. That doesn't hold its shape at all. So over the couple of years, if you have it on your house, it'll kind of turn into an oval because it'll just sag like that. $60 for this is kind of outrageous. Even 50% off, $30 for this is crazy. You could buy your own cotton sprays and attach them to a grapevine wreath, get something a little bit bulkier, a little bit larger, and better quality than this.
Yeah, what he said.
What I said. More foam up here. Don't recommend. This will get extremely dusty no matter how much you try to clean it, and it'll start to fade as the sun hits it.
See, I'm really noticing because like I never really pay attention, but like a lot of these fake plants have like that dusty look.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's what you want, like for Dusty Miller or Lambsear, it looks very nice. But for your typical stuff, it's not really that nice. Like some of these just kind of look dusty, but it shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they definitely wouldn't hold up over time. Stay away from just for the price. Often people just buy these for their home if they don't know any better, but you could easily create something just as beautiful
See, now
for less than $80.
I would buy that because I don't know any better.
I mean, $80 for this, even 50% off, $40, it's a little bit thin. Magnolia foliage is one of the most difficult foliages to kind of get accurately, and Hobby Lobby sometimes has nice ones, a little bit large, but any leaves that kind of bend over like that or look like super plasticky, I don't recommend. Typically, the Magnolia has a velvety back. This is kind of a very bright copper color. That's not usually what it looks like. More paper flowers, stay away from those. So we just finished filming a quick video at Hobby Lobby. If you guys like these videos, drop it in the comment section, give this video a like, and if you haven't subscribed or followed yet, I greatly appreciate it. There'll be more content like this, so go do that. Bye everyone.